Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Just Bougie. Thank you for coming back to our latest episode. Um, Today's topic, we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. So you know me, I am the definition person of, behind the meaning of the terminology.
we need like the segment, and Sam defines
Yes.
imposter syndrome.
So, imposter syndrome is persistent ability to believe that one's success is deserved, and it's basically like a result of one's own efforts or skills. In my words of what imposter syndrome is, imposter syndrome, in my opinion, means like if you reach a certain goal in your life or like an achievement and you kind of just have like these thoughts where like, oh wait, how did I get here? Like, do I even deserve to be here? Like, how did I make this happen? Like, am I meant to have this this happen to me?
Yeah, I feel like that definition was like a positive definition of imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
because it wasn't given like imposter syndrome. Like, I mean, it was given like you meet your goals, but it was given more of like a positive side of it. But most of the time when I think of imposter syndrome, it's like, is this really happening for me? Like, even like sitting on this podcast is like, are we really recording a podcast?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
is this me? Like, do we really have mics and like a setup and like a whole YouTube channel now? Like, we're like legit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it can't be me, just little old Tanisha, like recording a podcast. Like, no. So,
I'm still in disbelief. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I know, it's crazy.
when I first watched the episode for our podcast, I was like, this girl's all over the place. Like, talking about myself. I'm like, girl, she's all over the place. Like, it's my first podcast, and like the fact that we actually made this happen, it's just it's given me so much. I know you hate this word, grace. It's given me so much grace, but it just made me feel just accomplished, more excited for this year
In the future,
what the future
yes.
holds.
So I did say last time, like, I kind of don't like the term like just give it grace, but I feel like in this scenario, like giving ourselves grace, and as far as like how we talk and present ourselves, is like an accurate term to use, because we're actually putting in the work, and it's like give ourselves grace with time to improve. I think it's I think in this situation it's a little bit different, because it's like we're putting in the work and we're not avoiding the work. I feel like when you say give yourself grace and like you're avoiding the work, then it's like, well, you're not doing anything. But we are putting ourselves out there. We're putting our best foot forward and trying and going after the goals that we had. And we've had this goal for a while to do the podcast, and it seems like we always have come up with like roadblocks or things that kind of have gotten away as like of timing, just the timing of life. And I feel like right now is perfect. And as you said, the year 2025 is definitely like the year. So we're just excited to get it going. And I feel like in this instant, like we didn't let imposter syndrome like kind of stop us.
I think we got tired of making an excuse.
Yeah.
I got tired of it. I was just like, we got to find a common ground on what we want to do. I think imposter syndrome for women, I think with myself, I compare myself to other people. Like for example, it's easy to compare other people's journey with your journey. And like this podcast journey, I think it's part of like imposter syndrome, where like for example, you can look at some YouTuber and they can have like 10,000 subscribers, and I'm just like, well, what? How am I gonna get there?
Yeah.
And I think with me, I get in my way sometimes, where I'm just kind of like, well, how are we gonna get to that point? Like, how can we market ourselves? Like, what can we do to make our YouTube or our, like I said, podcast grow?
Yeah.
And I think that's like not a healthy way to have like that type of imposter syndrome.
I think for me, for imposter syndrome, it's kind of weird, because like I'm one of those people, like I always tell people, like I encourage people to like live in their truth and live their best life, and like anything is possible for them, and I like encourage them, like go after it. And I felt a little hypocritical, because I'm like, I have all these dreams, and I keep telling people, follow your dreams, follow your passion, you still gotta do the work and put in work and things like that. But it's like I wasn't doing any of the work on myself, and I'm like, man. And sometimes it's because like I'm like, who am I to do all these things? But I do, like, in my mind, I think really big about these things. like just like life goals. I have really big goals.
Yeah.
And it's like, who am I to accomplish
Mm-hmm.
these goals, you know?
Yep. I think maybe people are afraid. I think that's part of imposter syndrome too. A lot of people are afraid to be verbal about their goals.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they're being judged. Like, for example, sometimes like if you get positive feedback, that could be imposter syndrome too. Because you're just like, okay, saying that to be nice, or like, is it truthful? Like, and then you try to seek validation, and I hate that. Like, I hate when I try to seek validation from people, try to get approval of their opinions, and by the end of the day, your opinion matters, not anyone, no one else's. So
yeah. I think that what you were saying when it comes to like not getting other people's opinions, but like when people say something nice and you're like, oh, are they just saying that to be nice?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that is part of like imposter syndrome.
Syndrome.
I can't even say that word anymore. Maybe I should scratch the word. Okay. But anyways, what I was saying is like when people give you positive feedback and they're basically giving you a compliment and you're like, man, I'm not, basically you're saying like, I'm not worthy of that compliment. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you are. Like maybe they actually really like the episode. Maybe they actually really like listening to you. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're encouraging you just because you are you, you know?
And then sometimes too, like if you ever notice how when anyone that's starting a business or just like a podcast in general, they start, but then you notice how they're not like continuing like posting like any videos and stuff, like I guess because that, like I said, the imposter syndrome kicked in and they were just like, well, maybe it's not gonna go well, like the fear of failure, you know, all that. So yeah, that could be part of the reason too. Well, not part of the reason, but that could be part of like, you know, imposter syndrome too.
You just really have to push yourself.
Be consistent.
Yeah, you have to push yourself and be consistent. And you really have to think of like what is your end goal, like what is the goal that you're after, because I like I said before, like how do you get to that place if you don't know where the end goal is?
Mm-hmm. You have a mindset of what you're trying to achieve, but then you kind of like get to the point where you're like frustrated while doing it and you want the end result, and that's not how life goes. You have to put in do the steps. You have to step by step to get to the goal. You have to keep working. And I think that one thing that always sticks out to me with things like this, like you're saying that, you know, people want to start a business or a podcast, a YouTube, maybe they're looking to get a new job, maybe they're trying to finish school or something like that. And the one thing that clearly comes to mind, you know, I'm a Kardashian fan, like keep up the Kardashians, love the show. Yeah. But you remember there was the episode and she got so much backlash when she was like, just effing do it. Yeah. And people were so mad at her for saying that. But to be honest, it really is the truth. Yeah, like, maybe she has advantages that you don't have, but you have to figure out what advantages you have and take advantage of that time that you have or of the privileges that you do have. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, like, for me, like, I always tell you, like, oh my goodness, like, even to sit here and record sometimes is kind of hard because, you know, with my kids, it's like, when do we record? So, you know, I take advantage of time when my kids are asleep, you know, and she makes the sacrifice to come over at night when the kids are asleep, and we utilize that time. We just do it in the time frames that we have available. So it's not always convenient, like, we're tired, or we got other things to do. Maybe we want to go out for cocktails or something at night. But no, we're here putting in the work because that's what you have to do. You just have to make the time and do it. Mm-hmm. And like, when we did our first episode, remember how... when we were just trying to edit a video, we were up to like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
It's just sacrifice. Well, yeah.
It is sacrifice,
yeah. So.
But that's what someone, you know, that's why so many people there's so much information out there, and people will give you the steps on steps on steps to do like the business because they know a lot of people will not put in the work. No. Like, it's not meant for everybody.
Easy route.
But when something is for you and you know what you want, you have to put in the work and do it.
Mm-hmm. So my question is, Tanisha, like, what situations have you encountered that made you have the thought about imposter syndrome? Like, I could start off with my situation. I always have imposter syndrome when it comes to new jobs.
I was gonna say something about that. Yep.
Like, when I did my career change and I started with this company, I had so many thoughts where I was like, how did I get here? Like, am I going to be able to fit in with the work culture? How am I going to be able to, like, comprehend this work that's, like, totally different from what I was doing? Because I used to do real estate, and I did a career change in staffing and recruiting. So I just had a lot of thoughts in my head, and I met a good friend, Carrie, and shout out to her because she helped me out so much through our journey together working for that company. Carrie and we were talking one day. It was like my first week. It was like welcome week at our job, and I was telling her how I felt because you know how it's when somebody meets you, like when you first meet someone and you feel like you've met like a long lost friend, and that's the complete stranger. That's what I felt like with her.
Yeah.
And she pointed out, like, she was like, you know, are you okay? Like, because I was sad because I did a career change, you know, that was something different to me, and I was like adjusting to it.
Yeah.
So I remember she was just like, you know what you're going through? You're going through Impostor Syndrome, and I was like, what the hell is Impostor Syndrome? Like, what the hell? I mean, like, I heard of the word, I just didn't really like.
You wouldn't think about it in everyday context like that. Like, oh, I just started a new job. You think I have Impostor Syndrome just at a job, like?
Mm-hmm. And then it gradually got better. But, yeah, that's what I was going through. Like, just, like I said, any job that I get, I go through, like, imposter syndrome. Like I said, I didn't know I was going through that before I met my friend Carrie, and she pointed it out to me. So, like, now, like, whenever I start a new job or just, like, anything that's assigned to me at my job, I just really just try to, like, tell myself, like, it's gonna happen, like, I'm gonna be able to complete this assignment or complete, like, whatever that needs to be, you know, done. So I don't know, it's just
that's with me. Yeah, that's exactly when you were putting the question out there, that's exactly one of the thoughts that came to mind for me. So when I started out at the company I work for many years ago, I had went from just like a stalker in the morning shift, AM shift, just putting stuff on the shelves, to a manager. And I was like, who am I, like, to be a manager? I'm like 20 years old, and I'm telling people like what to do. I have like my whole department that I'm in charge of, and it's like I have to look at the numbers, the schedule, the sales, make sure we have the things that we need to run the business. And I'm sitting there. Yeah, and I have to put up boundaries. I really did have to put up boundaries because I'm a 20-year-old black woman running a department, and I have people that are younger than me. I mean, people that are older than me, people that are younger than me, people that think that they have more knowledge than me, people that are more educated than me, and people that want the position that I got, trying to tell me what to do. And it's like, no, this is my department, and I have to run it how I'm going to run it. And, you know, while I was there, it was definitely a challenge. But sometimes I would look at myself and I'm like, who am I? Like, this 20-year-old girl, like, except it's a whole different, like, many years have passed, but this 20-year-old girl, like, who am I to be a manager? Like, who am I to be a boss, basically?
But I mean, you did good because...
No, I did really good. I did really good. Yeah. So prior to getting that, I had Employee of the Month like 3 or 4 times. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. They took down my plaques, but they really did. But I, you know...
Sorry, it was hilarious the way you said it. You're like...
Because you can't see it no more, but... Yeah, it was just crazy to think about that. So, anyways, I had a question, too, in regards to, like, do you feel like imposter syndrome is, like, a form of self-doubt?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Someone had told me something like a couple of weeks ago. They were like, life isn't complicated, life is easy, just people make it more complicated than what it is. And I agree.
It actually is really true. So one thing that really stands out to me is, like, you are the creator of your own life, whether you choose to believe that or not. Like, people want to say, like, oh my goodness, like, I have responsibilities, I have bills, like, I can't just do this. And it's like, yes, you can. If you want to make a career change, you can do it. If you want to go a whole different way with your life, you can do it. You just have to figure out what it is that you want and how to manifest that and make it your reality. Sometimes I look at my life and I was like, you know, I think I want to change some things. And it's like, how do I change those things? It's like, you just make the change. So, yes, sometimes it requires sacrifice. Sometimes it requires hard work, dedication. and these are all hard things, but they're all hard things that you can do. Like, you are capable of doing hard things. And some people don't like to do hard things, but you are capable of doing them.
Let me tell you something about this new hobby that I'm trying to do.
A hobby? Let's see, what is it?
Hobby. Anyway.
Not a hobby. I'm curious now.
I'm trying to get back into fitness. I want to do Pilates, and I keep having those thoughts in my head where I'm like, I can't do this.
You can't.
I haven't even started yet because the girls that tell me about Pilates, like,
it's hard.
They said it's hard.
It's hard.
It's on a whole nother level of like fitness.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're dealing with not upper body strength.
It's just strength training in general. Like, it's whole body strength training. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to get into a fitness journey too, but I want to do. I really want to start running.
Yeah, I'm.
I want to start. I actually like to jog and I like to run. Put on a good music. Put on some good trap music, and I am running down the boulevard. I'm not gonna lie, I am gone, and I've been that way for a while. Like, I can put on good music and just run, and it just clears your mind. It clears your thoughts. There's something about running.
Oh my god! Like, I remember a couple of times last year, I used to do like my little hot girl walks. Love calling that hot girl walk, and I would just put my headphones on, Tunisia, and I would like listen to a podcast, and it makes such a huge difference doing that. Like, I remember I did like a 5-mile walk for I don't know how long, but I really enjoyed it. It was like part of like my self-care routine. When spring starts again, I'm gonna go back into that. But I also, my biggest imposter syndrome that I know that I really want to work on is learning a language. Spanish.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll say it again. Spanish.
Yes, you're gonna be all over that Bad Bunny concert.
Anyway, so just a little about myself. I'm a big Bad Bunny fan.
You remember we went to the concert? So she recruited me to go to the concert with her, and I was like, "Yeah, I love concerts. Let's go." It was nice. It was good. I would go back to another concert.
Oh, the new album.
Yes,
we're going
to Puerto Rico. All the way to Puerto Rico to see you, Bad Bunny, just for you. But I'm not gonna lie, like, I haven't listened to this last album, but you turned me on to his other album, his first album, and then after...
That was a Trap Bunny.
After the concert, the last one he put out was Trap Bunny?
Well, trap music, because he's known for doing trap music.
That was the last album he put out.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but that first song, there's a few of them on there that I was like... He had the instrumental on that first song, and I was like...
the first one.
Oh my gosh, I love that track. But I was like, okay, I can mess with his music.
Let me tell you, that concert that he had for that album... life-changing.
I wish I could have went.
Okay.
I wish I could have went. I was like 9 months pregnant, so there was no way.
Yeah.
I was not delivering at a Bad Bunny concert. But I would have been so happy to go. I would have been so happy to go. I would do it again.
But I really want to learn Spanish. I struggle a lot with just the wording and like the accent.
I would love to learn French.
Yeah.
The language of love.
But I get so frustrated learning a new language, like, and that's when the imposter syndrome kicks in, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, well, I can't do it. But I'm like, it's so crazy because when I went to Honduras, like in 2023, and we had a few translators, and I remember having conversations with them, and I was like, hey, how long did it take you to learn our language? And they were like, oh, 5 or 10 years. But they started
5 or 10 years?
But they started at a very young age. So, and their English is literally spot on. This guy, when I went to Honduras, we went to a church. Like, it was our first day there. And one of the translators had, like, a relationship with him. And basically the guy was like, yeah, I moved to Honduras not knowing the language at all. I wanted to do that because... it will be easier for me to learn a language in the country than actually trying to teach myself in the U.S. Because he was like, it will force me to actually learn the language. And I was like, that's actually smart if you really think about it.
Some people say you gotta like submerge yourself in. Yes, you gotta dive into the water and just go head first.
Yeah.
So I've heard that people do that, and I'm like, how?
Yeah.
But
he made it happen.
Yeah. My mother taught me something, and she said, there's certain things that are universal no matter what language you speak, like pictures. You can look at pictures and things like that. We're lucky now. We have like Google Translate and things like that. But like you could show people an object, and I'd be like, you show your cup, and they're like, cup, and what? Like people understand the signals. I mean, and then you learn the words. Like the words come along with it. So it's certain things like you just kind of figure it out as you go.
And so with me like trying to learn a language, like I gotta stop having that little imposter syndrome.
I would like to learn Spanish too. When I was younger, people used to think I was some form of Spanish all the time, all the time, and I was like, so people would come up to me speaking Spanish. I'm like, no habla español. Or I would tell them, yo habla poquito, muy poquito español, and they're like, oh, your Spanish is good, and I'm like, no, honey, no, it's not. I said I knew very few things, so I've tried to learn Spanish. But I don't have the I don't have the dedication. Like I kind of give up. I've taken Spanish class before, and I couldn't do it. But I'm with you. I would love to learn another language. I would love to expand that part of my mind and learn another language, but I haven't put the work in for that.
Yeah. So how do you think that we can how do you think we can combat like imposter syndrome? Like the first step is like acknowledging it. So
yeah, recognizing that you have it. And I think one thing, we were talking about this before, is like, one thing is like when people like, we would just talk about this kind of in a way, but like when people like compliment you and stuff like that, like you should accept it, not like, oh no, not me. Like some people.
I used to do that back then.
Yeah.
But whenever someone compliments me, I'm like, oh, thank you. Like it makes my day. It really makes a difference.
I love to compliment people. And I saw this, I think it was at TikTok I had saw, and this lady was like, when people compliment you, you should be like, oh yes. And some people think that's like, oh my gosh, that's so rude. But it's like, I mean, you say like yes and like thank you, not just oh yes, thank you so much. Like you're not
like in a cocky or
you're not cocky about it. But like if someone is acknowledging and being like confident about it, like why do we demean them and say that they're like cocky if they're just being like in their own skin
behind it? That is weird.
I'm kind of curious, like, cause sometimes you notice that, like, you say, "Oh my goodness, you're so pretty," and they're like, "Oh yes, thank you so much," and it's because they said yes or because they acknowledge that they're pretty. Like it's they're so cocky. They're just talking about how pretty they are. Like I don't see that. I think is what kind of causes certain things like imposter syndrome, because we as a culture have been kind of raised that if they act like this, then they're this way.
Because people want you to not believe that. And in a toxic kind of way.
Yeah, I've never been like that, because I'm the type of person, like, I love to give compliments. And sometimes, like, I have to be like, I like to give compliments, but also sometimes, like, I wonder if people will receive the compliments too, because I'm like, I don't know this person, so how would they feel if I said that or notice something? Because some people are weird, like, if you notice certain things about them, they look like... But I notice I'm a people person. I like to watch people. I like to look at people. I like to go sit at the mall and like see people go by. I like to see people's personal style. Like I like the gothic person who's dressed in all black with the little, the chain hanging out their pocket and the platforms. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like you look nice. Like I would never wear that, but it looks great on you because it's their own personal style. That's their expression. They're being their authentic self. And it's like, who am I to say that that's just because it's not for me?
Yes.
I'm not going to say it doesn't look good, because it does look good on that person.
That's a good example too, because like I used to have imposter syndrome when it comes to like changing my wardrobe style.
Yeah. Like
sometimes I'm kind of just like, oh, does this work for me? Like, I wouldn't say heels. I don't really wear heels. I'm not really a heels girl because it hurts my feet so much. But just like figuring out what works for me. Like, okay, for example, some people suggest that I should do braids in the summer. Like, those long braids.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. But
braids aren't for me. I cannot do braids. I'm so sorry.
There's some girls that can rock it.
They look very cute on some girls, but for me, I'm like, I don't think so.
I don't know. And I'm like, is that imposter syndrome? And we're just like, I don't know.
No, that's just, I don't want it. I mean, I cannot do braids. They're so heavy and long, and just, to me, it's too much. But I mean, I've seen some beautiful braids that look so good on people, but I'm like, no. Mm-hmm. I will wear my little bun all summer long. I gotta be able to itch the scalp, get in there. I can't do braids.
Yeah.
No. So, I think I had a bad experience with braids though too. Oh. And that bad experience I had, I was like, I'm not sitting there for all those hours no more. No, it's too long.
But yeah, like, that was part of, like, my imposter syndrome, was, like, figuring out what works for me as a looks-wise. But also, too, whenever you have imposter syndrome, I think you should, like, go back to, like, your achievements, too. Like backtrack your achievements that you actually did back then. Just to give yourself, like, some grace and, like, know that if you actually do this, then you can accomplish, like, this, not assignment, but this task that you're trying to...
Yeah, whatever your goals are that you want to accomplish. You can do it, and you shouldn't let imposter syndrome get in your way in accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish, basically.
Yeah, like, for example, like, if you did a sport back then, but then you're trying a new sport, and, like, you got rewards from the first sport that you did, and then you have that, like, thought process in your head where this new sport that you're trying to do, you're kind of like, well, how can I do this? Because, like, I'm learning something new. So that's what I meant, is, like, going back to your achievements. Like, you can look at your rewards and
basically you've accomplished something.
Yeah.
And you've accomplished something so good in this sport. You can also take those skills you've learned and apply it to the new sport. I get what you're saying.
Exactly. Like, for example, like Kim Kardashian, when she got into American Horror Story. And we all know, well, I love Kim Kardashian.
Have you watched?
She's a businesswoman.
Have you watched? Oh my gosh. I tried to watch the first episode. I only saw her a little bit. I tried, but I don't watch like stuff like that. So I don't know. I was a little scary. I was a little creeped out, so I had to stop watching. But I tried to watch it just because she's in it, because I'm like you. I love the Kardashians. Mm-hmm. I just love the business aspect, and I love their confidence that they can do the businesses, and they put in the work.
Mm-hmm. They do.
So,
yeah, like I said, for example, Kim Kardashian is known for being a businesswoman. Like, she's known for, like, her Skims product, her makeup, and other things. So I would have never thought that she would get into acting, and that's what she said too in one of her episodes on the show.
But you think about that, sorry, not to cut you off, but you think about before she got into business, she was just like a TV personality, basically, and like a stylist. Like, she wasn't even really a true entrepreneur yet. So we've seen her evolve so many times.
Because she was a personal stylist too.
Yeah, personal stylist. Then her and her sisters had the boutique. They were on TV, and then she transferred into these, all these business deals online, and then she transferred into her own business.
Yep.
And then, like you said, acting now. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
her TV show.
No, it's the truth though. So she figured out what works for her. So yeah, like another example too. Did you see Wicked?
I did not.
Okay.
You went and saw it?
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
It was good.
Okay.
Long movie, but it was good. Like, for example, Ariana Grande always dreamed and, like, manifested that she wanted to be part of, like, Wicked.
Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. She has a beautiful voice.
She does.
I could listen to her music just for her voice. Like, I don't really listen to the music. Like, I don't say some of her songs, like, it's not my genre, like my specific type of music that I like to listen to. But I love her voice. I can listen to her voice all day.
Yep.
Yeah.
But she mentioned, like, that she didn't think she was going to get the part. I mean, she manifested that. Yeah. Because with the musical Wicked, the director brought up a good point, because I saw a clip on TikTok. He was saying something about, like, he didn't want Ariana Grande
to clout the
yeah, because she was supposed to be, she played Glenda. Yeah. And Glenda is the total opposite, of course, from Ariana Grande, because Ariana Grande has, like, her singing voice, but they wanted her to play the part of Glenda. Yeah. So she actually had, like, a voice coach to change, like, her voice to Glenda. Really? That's what she said. And then she, studied Glenda, like, and just basically put her all into that role. And then, look, she did perfect. When I tell you perfect in that role, she did amazing.
See, I know nothing about the Wicked, like musicals or anything.
I don't either. I got into
I'm like crazy. I didn't really realize how much fandom was behind that whole movie and that movement.
And she said she had doubts at first, but then she put it in her head and, like, she put it out in the universe, and she said if this wasn't meant to be, then I'll just, get through it. But I'm glad that, she was able to, play that part.
I'm actually really happy for her that she was able to play that part too, because even though I haven't watched the movie and stuff, like, I like to see people like come into the roles, and just I've seen so much, of the like news and stuff about the movie and all the hype around the movie, and seeing her coming into, and I've heard so much good feedback, even like you saying that she did good in the part. I've heard so much good feedback about the casting and just the movie in general. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll probably watch it one day, but I think it just came out on TV where I can rent it or purchase it, so I might have to watch it at home.
And also too, what I wanted to say about that is Drew Barrymore on one of her shows.
I like her show.
Grande, I need to watch it. Drew Barrymore also mentioned, like, because she was in the movie, like, maybe that's like her next stepping stone on going into Broadway.
Oh yes,
and Ariana Grande just started crying. I was like, I could see
that
her
must
doing
be a
Broadway.
goal. That must be a goal or a manifestation of hers to go into Broadway, and to have someone reaffirm that to you is like probably like a breakthrough moment for her.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of manifestation, so like, I want to talk a little bit about manifestation, because it's like, it's one of those things you hear, like, to manifest, like, what does that even mean? And so I wanted to point out, like you do, the definition of the word manifest, and it says to display or show a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance, to demonstrate. And it's like basically what, like, when you're manifesting, like basically when you're manifesting in your head, you're just putting it in your head so that your body can follow. So, they always say, like, your thoughts become your reality. So when you manifest, you're putting the thoughts in your head so that they can become reality.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I think some people get this weird thing when the people say manifest or manifestation, that it's like, oh, you're putting up bad juju, or you're putting juju. You know how people's got that weird likeness about it. But it's really just putting, like, affirmations, words of affirmations out there when you manifest. It's like reaffirming yourself in the mind so that you can take actions and demonstrate, whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So it's manifesting, like, it is very powerful, but it's not like, oh, I'm going to say this and it's going to come true right away. Like, you still have to put in the work, or you still have to put yourself in the situations to make these things become reality.
I agree. I just thought of something so funny. So remember that song from Heidi Montag that I was playing?
Yeah, I don't remember the words, but I got a little
So I'm only bringing that up as an example. I don't know if anyone has saw on TikTok that she lost her home from the wildfires.
That's so sad.
So she created an album 15 years ago. I didn't even know it was 15 years ago. I thought it was I thought it was a couple of years ago. But anyway, so her album didn't go well, and come to find out, now this song is popping all over the internet on TikTok.
A song from 15 years ago?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's so crazy, how, you said manifestation, because I know she's been talking about this album, and, she had, her little trial and error, and she had, one of those, failures of, her trying to make it into the music industry. Yeah. And now this song is, so popular, and they're obviously trying to help her with, I guess, with the fundraiser of, buying her new home and finding a place to live and all that.
That's so nice.
But it's so crazy. And I know she had moments where she had the Impostor Syndrome where, the song, she didn't think the song was, gonna make it and all this other stuff. And then look at it now. And to think 15
years later, it's making it.
But you know what's crazy, though? It's, on the top charts of Apple Music. Not Apple Music, iTunes.
Really?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah. But that's crazy, and it's cool to see how we like to talk about so much. I've seen some people talk about how the culture of the internet and the culture of social media is so negative and so bad. But you see things like this, and you're like, okay, well, it can be used for good sometimes, and that's how we should look at it in a more positive light sometimes, because it does help people, and the fact that it's helping her 15 years later when she's actually in a time of need, it's crazy.
I think it's gonna. Do you think it's gonna build royalty? You know what royalty is? It's
she should
gonna...
accrue royalties. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's gonna get some sort of royalties off of it. I mean,
I like the song.
Now you want to play it.
Yeah.
I want to listen to it. I love
song I just started listening to. It's actually catchy. And oh my god, not to get off subject too. That's what manifestation, like you said, it's real.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you put it out in the universe. So someone that's not even a producer on TikTok, Tanisha, someone had added Pitbull's voice into her song, and now they're thinking about I think they said Pitbull is now considering on adding a verse.
Yes, that would be so
she can
nice.
make more, revenue from that song.
Exactly, that would be awesome.
Crazy. So it's crazy how manifestation actually works. So
look at that.
And also too, I think what will work best for like anyone in general that's trying to like accomplish, like I said, like anything that they want to do, like build that dream life and manifest that life that they're trying to do. Vision boards.
Yes. Yeah. I think vision boards, basically, like, it kind of wraps up, it signifies manifestation with intention. So you're basically just putting, like, these are my intentions, and you're manifesting these things through vision. So I love creating a vision board. I didn't realize the power of vision boards until, like, I made one, and I realized, like, oh, wait, I just got everything that I wanted. Because I had pictures of it, and I didn't even notice until one day I thought about it, and I was like, oh wait, these are the things I literally had pictures of. So my first vision board I had
was the one that we made.
No, I had one many years ago, and I had 3 items on it: a car, a house, and I think it was like school. I wanted to go back to school at the time, so I enrolled back in school. I got a brand new. This was 2013. This was 2012. I had a brand new 2013 Ford Mustang. So normally they release the newer model towards the end of the year. So I was able to get the next year's model at the end of 2012. So I got a brand new black on black. I love the color black Mustang GT, and I closed on my house like the same day. I picked up my house and the keys to my car on the same day. And normally it doesn't...
I don't... the best feeling ever.
To be honest, though, I have no idea how that worked out, because normally, like, when you buy a house, you don't buy any big ticket products within the same time frame. Yeah, you have to wait like a few weeks. So maybe we bought the house, and then maybe I got the car after. I think we moved into the house the same day I picked up the car.
But that's
so we might have already signed the papers.
Okay.
You know that's smart. Why?
No, because how you were in real estate, what they always say, buy a house before you get a car. Yeah. But
it was crazy, and then those were the 3 things though that were on my vision board. And the picture of my Mustang was a black on black Mustang, and I got an all black Mustang.
That's so crazy.
It's the same thing for this house.
Yeah.
In my old apartment, I think you might have come to my apartment once. I don't remember that. I don't know if you remember that apartment. I don't know if we were friends like that when I had that apartment. Well, we had to be, because it was before here. My apartment, I don't know. But anyways, the one with the stairs that go up. Yeah, and I had just got him when he was a puppy.
I thought it was a townhome.
Yeah, that one. Okay, I had a few apartments before I moved into this house, so I was like, I don't know which one she was at. But yeah, when we were tired of the apartment, and I was like, okay, it's time to move into a house. It's time to get somewhere more stable where we can actually like stay, because we knew we were going to stay in Georgia, and I was like, let's start looking for a house. And I printed off a picture of a house that we both really, really liked. It had the bay windows. It was brick front. It was brown. And it was a nice house that we liked. And I put the picture, we had like an office. When you walk up the stairs, it was like a cabinet and like a little built-in office right up the stairs. I would come up the stairs. There's a picture of my house on the cabinets.
Oh my God.
I did not realize that it was basically this house until like one day I looked at it. It was after we bought the house. So we bought this house. We weren't looking to buy at all when we bought this house. We weren't looking at all. And, it just, the lady, eventually, like, they pushed us, like, oh, do you want to just try and see if you guys can qualify to buy the house? And we're like, you know what? We really love this house. And the program that we were looking at, we couldn't get this house. So we're like, okay, let's just apply and see if we can finance our house, buy our second home. And we had sold the first home, but this would be our second house purchase. So we kind of know how everything worked and things like that. We're like, we're in no situation to buy. We're not really ready. but we'll try.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God it all worked out. And we were able to get this house.
Yeah.
But literally, this is the same exact house I had a picture of. The only difference is it didn't have this house doesn't have a third car garage.
Oh.
The house I liked, it had a third car garage. But other than that, like, it was brown, brick front, looked just like this house.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, that is crazy. So it makes you realize the power of visualization and just having, like, something to visualize and something to move forward to and to manifest that, really.
Yeah. Because
we had no idea. So it's kind of crazy to think how powerful vision boards can be.
Yeah, but that's so crazy how manifestation actually works. This year I want to make 2 boards. So I want to make one vision board and I want to make a prayer board.
Yeah.
The prayer board is something I saw on TikTok, of course.
Of course.
So what she did was for 2024. She wrote down all her prayers that she had on a sticky note, and then she put a Bible verse, like a scripture, on each of the sticky notes that will relate to like her prayers.
Yeah.
So, that's something I want to do, something different. And what she would do too, she would like highlight the Bible scriptures and like the verses, and then she'll repeat it over and over again, that scripture, every time like she had a prayer, and like she'll look at her vision board and look at her prayers.
I like that because basically when you're praying you could recite your verses and kind of like make it a full circle moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's actually pretty nice, and it kind of like puts context to your prayers when you have a Bible verse that's related to it. That's crazy. And I think that sometimes when you start, it also opens your eyes more to what the Bible talks about if you haven't read the Bible front to back yet, and like it helps you like open that door to like dig deeper into the Bible. That's crazy. I would never think about that. But you'd be surprised how many like relatable topics are in the Bible and how much information and advice you can find from the Bible.
Yeah. That's why I love TikTok so much. So they're not ban TikTok.
I know.
Hopefully not.
I know.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode. We definitely, hit the nail on the coffin with this topic about imposter syndrome.
Yes. And for going forward, we want to know like what you guys want to manifest for the new year. I had someone in my family ask me, my bonus mom, she asked me like, oh, what are your manifestations? What is it that you want to manifest? And one thing came to me like, how can you manifest if you don't know what you want to manifest? So what is it that we're manifesting for 2025? Yeah.
Just let us know and leave a comment, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.
We can probably say that.
We're officially on YouTube.
Yes.
All right, we'll see y'all on the next one.
Bye, guys.